The data is clear. The AI industry is shifting. Gemini 3.5 is gone, replaced by 3.7, and NVIDIA just cut $130 billion from OpenAI.
Welcome to The Explainer. Now, August 2026 just delivered two absolutely massive tectonic shocks to the artificial intelligence industry, and we're going to break them both down for you right now. Picture this. On one side, you have Google making some of the absolute most chaotic software moves we've seen in AI history, and then, in the exact same week, over on the hardware side, NVIDIA delivers a staggering billion-dollar blow to OpenAI. Now, you might be thinking these are just isolated headlines. No way. We're going to dig into the underlying audience data to see exactly how these two seemingly separate events connect to tell one incredibly revealing story about the future of AI.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. What the data reveals. 2. The Google Gemini meltdown. 3. NVIDIA's $130 billion cut. And 4. The grand conclusion.
All right, part 1. What the data reveals.
To truly understand why these corporate moves matter, we literally can't just read press releases. We have to look at actual human behavior. Look at this stark contrast in the click-through rates. You've got the recent Astromath breakthrough, which is pure incredible technical AI progress, and it pulled a remarkably low 3.75%. But then look at the other numbers. Google's serialized Gemini chaos pulled in over 11%, and NVIDIA's $13 billion cut from OpenAI, a staggering 14.29%. I mean, this is basically an algorithmic emergency siren, proving that audiences care far, far more about corporate chaos and the shifting landscape than they do about pure math breakthroughs.
There was a piece of feedback that really hit the nail on the head recently. You covered the events, but you didn't cover the consequences. And that perfectly captures the current mood, right? Viewership spiked when the news broke, but then dropped off. Why? Because people already know the what. What we are all desperately searching for is the why. You want to understand the aftermath. Why did these massive titans make these moves, and what are the actual consequences for the future of AI? Well, that is exactly what we're answering today.
Which brings us to part 2, the Google Gemini meltdown.
The bizarre, serialized drama of Google's recent software releases honestly reads more like a mystery novel than a corporate roadmap. And this brilliantly illustrates just how messy things have gotten behind the scenes. Just track this timeline for a second. In June, Gemini 3.5 Pro was promised. Okay, standard. In July, it was delayed. Then, on August 3rd, it mysteriously leaked online. By August 11th, it completely disappeared again. And then, and this is the wildest move of the whole shebang, on August 13th, Google shadow-dropped Gemini 3.7. They completely bypassed their own planned product. Guys, this is what it looks like when a company has totally lost its strategic roadmap.
Now, adding fuel to this fire, industry insiders have confirmed that Gemini 4 is actually already in pre-training. This leak raises some incredibly deep suspicions. Think about it. If they are already heavily investing resources into the 4th generation, what on earth went wrong with the previous generation that caused them to just panic and skip it entirely?
Which leaves us staring at this unavoidable question. Did Google just low-key admit that 3.5 Pro was a failure? By delaying it, leaking it, pulling it, and then basically dropping 3.7 out of nowhere while racing toward Gemini 4, Google has totally shown their hand. They're scrambling. Whether it's genuine behind-the-scenes panic or a desperate strategic pivot to leapfrog the competition, the chaos is absolutely undeniable.
Moving right along to part 3, NVIDIA's $130 billion cut.
While Google was dealing with software chaos, a massive financial earthquake just hit the hardware side of the industry. $130 billion. Just let the sheer shock value of that number sink in for a second. In a completely unexpected move, NVIDIA, the company that literally powers the entire AI boom with its chips, slashed its investment and partnership scope with OpenAI by $130 billion. They are actively pulling back from their most famous, high-profile customer.
So what's the play here? NVIDIA isn't just hoarding this cash, they are aggressively diversifying. First off, obviously, cutting that OpenAI funding. Second, they're financing their very own AI chip startups. And third, they are cozying up to OpenAI's direct competitors, specifically Google and Meta. NVIDIA is actively, deliberately moving away from a single point of failure.
But to put that into perspective, this strategic pivot ripples out into an even larger crisis. Because of NVIDIA's pullback, the massive $500 billion Stargate megaproject is suddenly in severe jeopardy. This $500 billion supercomputer entirely relied on the synergistic momentum between these tech giants. So without NVIDIA's full backing, the infrastructure that was meant to carry us all the way to artificial general intelligence, it's suddenly standing on very, very shaky ground.
Finally, part 4,
The grand conclusion.
So the crucial point here is how we connect the dots. These two stories actually mirror each other perfectly, exposing massive vulnerabilities in the industry's absolute biggest titans. On one side, you have Google scrambling to fix a chaotic roadmap, shadow-dropping products just to hide their lost lead. On the other side, OpenAI is losing its crucial hardware advantage and that perception of having just, unlimited funding. Both of these titans are suddenly highly vulnerable at the exact same time.
When you step back and synthesize all these events, a huge macro-level realization emerges. The AI golden era of unlimited funding might actually be ending. We are witnessing a massive geopolitical and financial shift right before our eyes. It's no longer just about who has the smartest math. It is about who can survive a tightening belt, hardware scarcity, and broken partnerships. Honestly, the honeymoon phase of blank checks and perfect roadmaps, it's over.
And that leaves us with one final, incredibly provocative question. Is the AI hype bubble finally bursting? Or, is this just the necessary growing pains as the power in the industry gets completely redistributed? I really want to hear your theories on this. Are we slowing down, or is this just a strategic reset? Take a moment to think about how all these puzzle pieces fit together, and definitely stay curious as we continue to watch this incredible landscape shift. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.